Have you ever been watching a movie totally convinced you know who the killer is, only for the last 5 minutes to flip everything on its head and prove you were completely wrong? Well, that feeling of being brilliantly outsmarted, that's what we're diving into today. So grab your notepad, put on your detective hat, because we are deconstructing the crime mystery thriller.
So what is the secret formula, right? What are those key ingredients, the hidden mechanics that filmmakers use to craft a story that keeps us guessing until the very end? Let's follow the evidence together and see if we can crack the case.
All right, first things first, let's lay the groundwork. What makes this genre so special is that you, the person watching, are an active participant. You're not just a spectator, you're basically a silent partner in the investigation, piecing together clues right there with the hero. And that is the core of its appeal.
Okay, so every great mystery has to start somewhere, and it all begins with a single, explosive event. This isn't just about starting the story, it's about building the entire foundation for the puzzle we're about to solve. It all starts with the crime itself.
And here's the most important thing to remember. The opening crime is almost never just for shock value. Think of it like a meticulously designed puzzle box. It's built to pose a question, who did this and why, that's so fascinating, so full of contradictions, that we absolutely have to stick around to find the answer.
But, a puzzle box isn't going to open itself, is it? You need someone to solve it, and that brings us to our guide through the darkness, the one character who's going to lead us to the truth, the investigator.
And this slide just lays out the two classic archetypes perfectly. On one hand, you've got the hard-boiled private eye. You know the type, cynical, walking down rain-slicked city streets, trusting no one. Then on the other side, you have the cozy detective. Maybe they're in a country manor, and their only weapon is a mind that's sharper than a razor. The kind of detective you have really changes the entire feel of the story. So we have our crime, we have our detective, and now we get to the real heart of the movie, the investigation. This is the hunt, right? The slow, careful process of uncovering the truth, one little breadcrumb at a time.
And this is where the filmmakers really start to have some fun with us. Because let's be honest, the path to the truth is never a straight line. It's a maze, and it's absolutely filled with false leads, distractions, and outright lies, all put there to throw both us and our hero off the scent.
So, how do you keep from falling into these traps? Well, you learn to spot something called a red herring. Here's a pro tip. If the movie puts a giant flashing neon sign on a clue, making it seem super obvious, it's probably a signal to look somewhere else. The real key is often hidden in some quiet, subtle detail that almost everyone else overlooks. Okay, so you've followed the clues, you've hopefully avoided the traps, and it's all been building to this one single moment. The moment the entire story turns on its head. The grand reveal. The twist.
This quote just perfectly captures the soul of a great movie twist. The truth, or maybe the real villain, isn't always some monster lurking in the shadows. A lot of the time, they've been hiding in plain sight the entire time, disguised as a friend, or a victim, or just some innocent bystander.
And this slide, this is basically the screenwriter's toolkit for pulling off that ultimate deception. The least likely suspect is a classic, of course, because it plays on our own biases. But the truly mind-bending twists are the ones that make you question the entire story you just watched. Like when you find out the person telling you the story, your narrator, can't actually be trusted. Or even better, when the person you thought was the victim is revealed to be the true mastermind behind it all. These twists don't just solve the puzzle, they make you rethink every single scene that came before.
So as you can see, you can take these core building blocks, the crime, the detective, the clues, and the twist, and you can assemble them in all sorts of different ways. And when you start combining them in specific patterns, you get these really distinct flavors, or what we call subgenres of the crime mystery.
And this table breaks it down beautifully. First, you've got the classic whodunit. As you can see, it's usually in an isolated place, like a country manor or a train. That isolation traps a small group of suspects together, which turns the crime into this fascinating social puzzle that's just perfect for an eccentric detective to solve. Now, compare that to neo-noir. The setting shifts to a dark, gritty, corrupt city. And here, our cynical PI isn't just solving a murder, they're fighting against this whole wave of moral decay that's threatening to pull them under. And finally, you have the police procedural. This one is all about realism. It's less about one lone genius and more about the painstaking, often frustrating teamwork of an entire squad, navigating red tape and systemic failures just to get the job done.
So, to go back to our original question, is there a secret formula? Well, in a way, yeah, but it's more like a blueprint than a cage. The true masters of the genre,
They know the blueprint so well that they know exactly which wall to knock down, or which rule to break, to create something that feels totally new and shocking.
And that leaves us with one final question for you. The next time you sit down to watch a mystery, armed with all this knowledge of the setup, the archetypes, the red herrings, do you think you'll see the twist coming?